Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today we're getting into the weeds with a specific piece of tech, the A-Neuvideo ANI-8WP. It's an 8-button IP wall plate control keypad.
Yeah, our mission here is to figure out how this pretty standard-looking US 1 gang wall plate acts like a control hub for some pretty complex AV setups. Definitely thinking about system installers, maybe advanced smart home users, people needing serious control without a huge footprint. Oh, and worth noting, it's TAA compliant. That's important for certain government or larger commercial jobs.
Right. And what jumps out immediately is that it's way more than just, buttons. It's really a programmable control center packed into that small space. It's designed, I think, to maybe replace some bulkier, more expensive rack gear in certain situations. The integration is the key part. Physical buttons meet network automation.
Okay, so let's get specific. What kind of programmable power are we actually talking about here? Well, you see the 8 buttons on the front, right? Those are direct macro buttons. But the interesting part is, under the hood, accessible through the web GUI, that's its web browser interface, it can store up to 128 commands internally.
128 inside that little plate.
Exactly. And you can stack them. So one single button press can trigger a macro that executes up to 16 of those commands all at once.
16 actions from one button.
Okay, hold on. For an installer listening, that capacity, that could seriously change the budget for, say, a small meeting room or a classroom, couldn't it? Could this actually replace a dedicated control processor in those scenarios? Is that the idea?
That seems to be the value proposition, yeah. It massively simplifies the system design, and the control methods reflect that professional focus. You've got the buttons, naturally. Then there's the web GUI for setup and some control, and crucially, Telnet.
Ah, Telnet, so command line access, precisely. While the web GUI is user-friendly for setup, Telnet lets programmers or advanced systems really integrate it deeply, sending text commands over the network. It allows it to talk to other complex IP devices.
Okay, connectivity. How's it powered? How does it physically connect?
Power is flexible. It supports PoE power over Ethernet.
Oh, nice. So just the one network cable for data and power. Installers love that.
Definitely simplifies the wiring. Or you can use a separate DC power supply, a 5-volt one if needed.
And talking about connecting to other gear, especially maybe older stuff without IP control.
That's where the relay output comes in. It's got one relay on a terminal block connection, rated for 24 volts, 10 amps, so pretty beefy.
A physical relay output. Okay, so give me an example. How would you use that in tandem with the IP control?
Okay, imagine this. You program one button, pressing it sends an IP command to your network video switcher to change inputs, and at the same time, it triggers that relay. And that relay physically lowers a motorized projection screen, maybe one that doesn't have its own network port, all from that single button push.
Right, bridging the IP world and the physical contact closure world. Makes sense. And it's not just about immediate button presses either, is it? There's automation.
Yes, scheduling control.
Yeah.
You can set up specific events to happen based on date and time.
Like system startup every morning at 7 a.m. or shutting down all the classroom projectors at 6 p.m.
Exactly that kind of thing. Scheduled, automated sequences. And it's built tough metal chassis, solid ESD protection, 8 kV air gap, a 4 kV contact. Installers won't easily zap it.
Good point on the build. And they include labels, too, because with potentially 16 actions per button.
Yeah, they include 56 labels. Half are pre-printed with common stuff, half are blank for you to customize. Helps make those complex macros usable for the actual end user.
Okay, so let's recap the big picture here. The ANI-8WP seems to pack a lot into a standard wall plate form factor. You get the physical buttons, sure, but also deep network control via Telnet.
A massive command library, up to 128 commands stored internally.
The ability to trigger up to 16 things at once, plus that physical relay output.
And the scheduling for true automation. It's quite a bit of intelligence in a small, familiar package.
Seems like a powerful little box.
And A-Neuvideo backs it with a pretty standard 3-year limited warranty, which gives some confidence.
Stepping back, it really highlights how even something as simple as a wall plate can become a node, a sort of mini brain, in a larger automated system. It translates a physical touch into potentially complex timed actions across a whole network. It makes you think, what does this kind of device say about where physical interfaces are heading in our increasingly connected environments? What stands out to you about that future?